welcome to the desk of Ladyada.
Hey.
Maker to Market Edition.
Hey, we're here on another Saturday night, 10 p.m. So the party's at. We're here at my desk, which is the party. Got this nice mouse, got this nice keyboard, clicky-clacky. And we're going to be doing some more engineering today, pre-engineering. We're going to be doing some research. And why? Because that's step 2 of the 10-step process of Maker to Market. That's how you get your idea from your brain into your hand and into the market, to sell to people or give away or make substantial.
Yeah, and just to recap, we did the concept video. So we partnered with Maker.io, which is powered by DigiKey. And the last one was the concept one. That was the first one. And Maker.io is their site where they outline how to get your stuff to market. So he said, oh, well, we have Circuit Playground, and you're helping us get Circuit Playground to tons of people. So why don't we share our experiences with how we did that more. So we're up to research.
2.
So last week was concept, and now we're up to research. And Ladyada, when you decide you're going to make something, you have to research it.
Right. A lot of research. It's called research and development for a reason.
Yeah.
And the concept video that we did, we just kind of outlined why. Right. It's like the why of what we're making, why we decided to design it, why nothing else in the market was really fitting our needs. Because otherwise, honestly, I'd prefer if somebody else made this thing. If I can buy something other than manufacture, sell it, promote it, support it, that's great. So we looked at all of those. That's part of the concept part of the video. And that was last week. Same bat time, but exactly 7 days ago. And then in this video, we're going to take the concept stuff, because we ended up kind of like melting a little bit into research. We sort of started looking at all these other boards that were on the market that did something similar to Circuit Playground, but maybe didn't quite match up. And in this one, we'll actually go through each one and talk about pros and cons, what I like about them, what I think I might pass on, and like what can I learn from all these different approaches to make my own design. Because no engineering is done in a vacuum. You always look around at what everybody else is doing. That's one of the fun things about engineering. One of the best things about open source hardware is you get to peer with X-ray vision into other people's designs, and you don't even have to do a lot of reverse engineering. Oftentimes the schematic is just published.
Yeah, so on the Maker.io site, they have their research section, and this is their advice and their overview. And it's, you've done a bit of Googling, now it's time to get serious about researching your idea. You'll need to review platforms, evaluate price points, perform a competitive analysis. That might be a great time to start looking into intellectual property.
Yeah.
So we'll go over that
as
well. Okay, so Ladyada, what do you want to start off with?
We're going to kick this off. So let's talk about briefly in the concept video from last week. So we had like maybe 10 or like a dozen different boards, designs, packs that we wanted, that we were inspired by. Some of them we make, some of them other people make, some of them we sell. Some of them we have in our hands because we bought them from a online supplier. Some are discontinued even, which is still useful. Always, even if something didn't make it in the market, it can have valuable lessons. So let's just kick through each one and write down the really good things, the not so maybe great things about it, and what we can learn and what we're going to pass on from each platform. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great. So do you want to go to your screen? Do you want to go to look at stuff? What do you want to do?
Let's go through each one.
Okay.
So can you click on the first one?
Yeah. So we're going to start with, what's the phrase? Like eating your own dog food, I guess? So we're going to start with our own. This is our Ardex kit. We've been selling this forever.
This is an oldie but goodie. So now when we go to the computer, is this my computer yet? Okay, so this is my computer. And this is, we're not shipping because it's 4th of July. So this is the Ardex kit.
Yeah.
And this picture is pretty good. It shows it has an Uno.
On a side note, we'll go into marketing and distribution in future episodes. But you notice we had a banner across our site.
Yeah.
And managing customer expectations about what ships on a holiday weekend, which this is one of the best things you can always do, because next day delivery, a lot of people think it shows up on Sunday. It doesn't. But anyways, that's why you saw that banner. So back to you, Ladyada, with Ardex.
Yeah, so for each product, I thought we would kind of go through the pros and cons. I can use a spreadsheet, but it's going to get like really big and voluminous. So I thought like I would just practice by putting it into this document. Just get your notes, your research down, and then we can adapt later. So this is the Ardex kit. And then I usually just keep the URL with me. And this is $85 retail. And here's like, what it comes with or what you can do with it. So it has an Arduino Uno, breadboard, 10 red LED, 10 green LED, 1 servo, 1 motor. There's also like 1 blue LED and 1 RGB LED. And then it's got 2 buttons, 1 temp sensor, 1 relay, 1 piezo. I'm trying to just go through like what I see here in this image. You have like USB cable, 1 wires bundle. Oh, you have over here I have also 1 potentiometer, 1 times 595. And I think I have a couple transistors. I'm not going to include those because they're just, they're transistors for the driving the motor. So this kind of counts in here, plus NPNs. And then you also get 1 times a 9-volt battery holder. 0 volts. Oh, and a FSR. So this has like a lot of sensors. So let's put that down as a pro. So pro, lots of sensors. But cons, breadboarding required, kind of pricey. Actually has a booklet, which is kind of nice. Some people like that, so I'll put that in there. Booklet. Lots of sensors. Booklet. Arduino compatible. Robotics and sensors. So it's kind of nice. I do like that. But the cons are it's pricey. It has breadboarding. It's a little bit like cookbooky, which means like it doesn't like teach you concepts as much. You kind of go through the book and it's like plug these in and then do this thing. There's the booklet, although it's really nice to have a booklet, it's not in depth.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a pro. I mean, it's a good introduction to Arduino. It's like excellent if you want to like cover a little bit of everything. It's not portable. I mean, it comes with a 9-volt, but like a 9-volt holder, but it's like it's not like it's kind of chunky and large, or wearable. We'll go through other things. We can go back and say like, oh, this doesn't have one thing or the other. Okay, so that's the first one.
Okay, so that's Ardex.
That's Ardex. So it definitely doesn't meet our price point, but it's a good place to start with because it is so popular. And people do like it.
Yeah, I'll put me on the screen so I'm just not talking at.
Hello. Oh, hi.
So I guess I'll look up and say hello. So you, when you were doing Circuit Playground, you're like, well, we have a pretty good seller, and we want to compete with our own product that we have. What are the pros and cons? Is that the way? Yeah,
like what? I mean, it's kind of you have this like buffet. You go to like the buffet at the restaurant, and like you look at everything. You're like, I like this and I like this, but I don't like that. Like you pick and choose what you like, and some things like the booklet is interesting. So maybe we'll think about having a booklet in some way. The robotic stuff is pretty neat. It's Arduino compatible, which is very powerful. Yeah. I mean, like a lot of people are looking for something that is Arduino compatible, and some of the things we're going to look at are not, and so it's like kind of good to keep that in mind.
All right, let's keep moving. Okay, so
I'm going to actually, when we go back, I'm going to highlight some things I like. So I really like that it has a lot of sensors, and I really like that it's Arduino compatible. But the con here is like all these cons are like, okay, it's breadboarding is required, and I kind of want something that's not breadboarding. That's like kind of one of the core things that I didn't want to have. Like we talked about this on concept, but one of the things I definitely didn't want to have was something that required breadboarding.
Yeah.
So this is like the one example that has breadboarding, and it definitely allows you to have a lot more flexibility, but it just like means you have this big chunky thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Next up, Lily Snap. So we don't make this. This is from SparkFun.
Yeah.
So we could have just said, this product is everything we want. We're done. But
yeah, this is kind of like a lily pad. I mean, this is like lily paddy, like this whole idea of like, I like the idea that you snap apart stuff. And it also comes with a lot of things, which I think is really neat. So let's go there and look up Lily Snap. Oh, I thought it was called Lily. Hold on, I gotta figure out how to search for things. I think this one, ProtoSnap Lily Pad. Okay, I found it.
Okay, so we'll go to the computer. Just another note, check it out. SparkFun also has a reminder. So the electronic companies that let their customers know the shipping status and managing expectations is the way to go. So that's kind of a nice
good idea.
Side quest. Okay, so we got Ardex so far. We have that.
Okay, I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
so
and then we've got.
Okay, so the ProtoSnap. So now it's like we have an idea of like what the. Oh man, hardest thing is using OpenOffice. That's actually like the toughest part. Okay, so
update Java.
Huh?
Update Java.
Yeah, I know. I think it probably. And I hate like everything is underlined. I don't know. Okay, so so what I like about this is it kind of it's like this idea of like it comes with everything. So it kind of doesn't. So the nice thing. Okay, so let's go what it comes with. It comes with.
Oh, you like the impression that it has everything you need to get started.
I do. I like that because that's kind of what we're going for.
Yeah.
So it has.
But it still needs some things that you want to see.
Well, I might not be reading this completely. I have to go back to the page. So it comes with a buzzer motor. That's this thing. It comes with one RGB LED. It comes with one button. It comes with one switch. It comes with 5 white LEDs. It comes with a piezo. This is actually my speaker buzzer, but I think I'm going to call it piezo. One light sensor. Oh, you know what? This actually comes with a light sensor too. I forgot to. They're always so small, I forget. And then this, I think this is a temperature sensor.
Someone in the chat says LibreOffice is pretty good, by the way.
What?
LibreOffice is pretty good.
Well, yeah, look. It's GNU Linux.
I think you still got to download Java, though.
I know.
Different version of Java, though.
It comes with a Lily pad, which is Arduino compat. So here's what I like about this. So Pro, all-in-one, no breadboarding. Nice.
That is nice.
Can use alligator clips, which I kind of like. Doesn't come with them, but you can use it with them. Lots of parts. Let's see if I can escape from this page. Hold on. Oh, it does come with an FTDI. Also comes with an FTDI adapter. Comes with a live poly. Okay, so I guess it also charges the live poly. Oh, shoot, sorry. Okay, well, we can look at the schematics in detail later. It comes with a lot of parts and sensors. There's no real robotics, but that's okay. But the cons for this is, once broken apart, you break it apart, and like has to be sewn or clipped. Like it has all these parts, which is handy, but like you can't, it breaks apart and then like people can do that by accident, like it's kind of meant to. And that's good for if you want to use only wearables. So it's kind of only good for wearables. Which is fine, but that's just like not, I want to have something that's a little bit more durable. Like you don't have to just use it for wearables. And the price is $60. It's also Arduino compatible. Let me make this. Oh man, how do I?
You want to download LibreOffice or something?
No, I'm not. I can't do that. But I want to. I wish it would not have these borders. I don't need them.
I think like it's under View and Rulers or something.
You know what? You can spend the rest of your life. Okay.
The hardest part about doing electronics is using a word processor.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has to be sonar clipped. Coming with a LiPoly battery they're difficult to ship, and also, you know, for advanced. Whoa. I should have probably used Google Office, but next time we'll do that. So the problem with LiPoly batteries, and like as of April, they're very, very hard to ship. They often can't ship air. They have to be packaged a certain way. You have to have training in order to ship them. So it causes a lot of delays. So one of the things I'm going to put as like a requirement is not require LiPoly or Li Plus batteries.
Yeah. Get your batteries local.
Because this is I've been through
Especially
this.
for workshops and lots of students and stuff.
I've been through this. You do not want to have anything that requires a lithium battery that's separate. I mean, if it's inside the device, it's a little bit easier to deal with, but it's just like a challenge. I prefer not to. But I mean, this still has a lot. I like all the things that it comes with, and that's kind of neat.
Okay.
You know, the price isn't too bad. I think, you know, price is a bit high, but better than Ardex, for sure.
Okay.
I think that's good. Is there anything else I didn't cover here?
No, let's keep moving. We got a lot.
Okay, let's keep on going.
We got a lot ahead. All right, next up.
Okay.
You want to probably pull this one up too. This
because this is the same site.
Digital Sandbox.
Also
Spark Fun.
Sandbox. Okay, this is actually very similar. So kind of like I'm like, oh, I'll do these together.
Yeah, it looks like they kind of riffed on the.
It's totally a
idea.
riff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
kind of like what we do. It's like, oh, there's a product. We should just repeat what it knows.
So this is the digital. Whoa, can't type. Digital Sandbox.
You want me to go to the computer or?
Oh yeah, sorry.
All right, it's fine.
So this comes with. Oh, sorry, this is this URL. And then it comes with USB cable. It comes with a booklet. So like this booklet thing is kind of nice. People do dig booklets. And then this is the main board. So it's kind of a little bit like the snap apart board, but it doesn't snap apart, which is kind of like, I think that there was like people, like it was like, oh, if you have to snap it apart, it's like not as useful to people. Like people want something sturdy that they can carry around. So this comes with an Arduino compatible. So this section here is the Arduino compatible. It also comes with, it does do LiPoly charging, which again, I'm like not super into, but it's in there. This has a temp sensor, a sound sensor, 1 RGB LED, 5 white LEDs, 1 button, 1 switch, 1 potentiometer. I think that's it. So it's actually got almost the exact same things as the other kit, except it's like, It's all in one. Like you don't have a separate FTDI adapter thingy, and it doesn't come with a battery. I don't think. No, but it does come with a nice booklet. So like, booklet's pretty sweet. And then you can use it, it has like a bunch of things you can do with it. The pros are, this is also Arduino compatible. All the things we're looking at now are Arduino compatible, but we'll eventually get to ones that are not. All in one, doesn't break apart. Booklet, lots of sensors, cute PCB design. I dig it. Cons, don't like the LiPoly stuff, because again, it's kind of horrifying for me. Price is way more than $20, which is our goal, because this price is $75 or so. So it's like, I think like the booklet especially like makes things expensive. So we have to think about like, is a booklet something we want to add? Because it looks like adding a booklet just like makes everything like $10 more expensive.
Yeah, and a lot of educators, they print out PDFs and the documentation changes frequently because, for example, we'll get into some platforms and programming later, but Arduino might change their IDE and everything's different. So we like to have it set up so the booklets can be printed locally.
How about like as a maybe, as I'm doing my research, maybe printable booklet PDF?
Yeah.
Or, or optional.
Yeah.
So like it could be that some educators are willing to buy a booklet. So maybe not require it to come with the booklet. Maybe that booklet's like an add-on. Sort of like we have these like little make books.
Yeah.
And these are like $15. So if our goal is $20, we can't include a $15 book. But maybe there's some people like, well, $35 is still within my budget, and they'd be willing to pick up a book. So the idea is to consider.
I kind of feel like if you start going down the booklet path, you have to get a spiral bound one anyways, because it needs to lay flat on the desk, because the students can't. They're already going to like weight it down. Like it's
they
so
do
now
have
we're back to
the perfect. Yeah, this isn't perfect bound. Some of the old O'Reilly books have that nice. Perfect. The special binding that lays flat, but you can spiral bound, which is. Some people like, some people don't. Okay. So, LiPoly stuff, but this is actually like pretty good. This is like pretty close to like, okay, it has a lot of stuff going on. All these are actually missing one thing, but I'll talk about.
Not quite perfect, so that just means that we're like, we're
getting close.
Yeah.
We're getting close. Like the Arduino compatibility, the all-in-oneness. I want it to be, it is a little bit clunky. I wanted something a little bit more like compact maybe, but like this does have like a nice tabletopness. It's wearable, but there's no alligator clips, which is one of the things I kind of like about.
Yeah, you got to solder, right?
You can plug things into the wires, but it's like not. It's not as extensible.
Always be clipping.
I mean, nothing is. Even when we finish a circuit playground design, there's going to be like, here's 8 things that it doesn't do. That's would be really cool. Is there anything?
I'm looking forward to someone else's video series about that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Okay. Right, so let's keep going. Okay, so let's go. Now we're moving on to other designs.
We're back, eating our own dog food again. So we bought this. We stocked this in our store.
That's the name of it again? Bear. So I like this because it was really, I saw it being used a lot with people's projects.
Yeah.
And so here's what it is. It's basically like it has these tabs that you could connect to.
Yeah.
And it has an MP3 player.
Getting close. Look at all this stuff does.
SD. It's kind of insane.
Woo.
But it's mostly like it's capacitive touch. But I thought I tossed this in.
Coffee.
Conductive one. It's not exactly the same as the others, but it's kind of similar. So I thought it would make an interesting. Sometimes you have to have ideas that are like, okay, I'm definitely not going to do that, but I might as well mention it. So comes with, and this is, it is Arduino compatible, but it's an Atmega 32U4, and these are all 328s. This has SD card, audio output with MP3 playback, which like, people really do like audio projects. So like having the ability to play back audio is beneficial. This does have live poly plus boost plus charge. So like there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting it into some of these products, but I just can't do it. I know it's not going to work out. And this also has
I got a question.
Yeah,
so,
what's up?
You know, one of the things too, you just mentioned sound. That's one of the senses we have as a human.
Yeah.
We also can do colors, and so one of the things that you may want to mention is, you know, RGB LEDs are good things.
Some of these have RGB LEDs, so I label them when they have them.
Some do, and some don't.
And you'll see some patterns. Like there's a lot of things. It's like the Ardex and like the ProtoSnap. They all have multiple LEDs and RGB LED. A temperature sensor seems to be really common. You can put this in a grid. So what's nice about this is it has 12 times capacitive touch using the NPR 121. That's this chip here, and that's what allows you to do like touch. And I actually really like capacitive touch because when I was at the Media Lab, like almost everybody's project has capacitive touch in it. Just people were like, loved capacitive touch because it's so much fun to touch something and something happens. So this is a board that has a lot of music capability, but which I really like. Pros, music playback, like high quality, MP3. It's Arduino-y. It even needs Arduino shape. Like the headers, if you put headers in, you can turn it into an Arduino. Has lots of capacitive touch and like big pads, right? Because like some of these boards have big pads you can clip onto, and some of them you have to like stick little wires in, like kind of breadboarding. So that's kind of what I like. The cons are, no sensors other than cap touch, and very intense single purpose design. Like it can do a lot within the thing that it does, but it only really does one thing. You touch things and music comes out, which is really cool. But it's like you can build a drum machine or a synth, that's it. There's no like light sensor, there's no accelerometer. This is kind of what it does, and that it's very single purpose, and it's pretty expensive. It's $100, so that's expensive for a beginner. Like it's something that is very powerful, but does one thing and does it really, really well, rather than I think what we want Circuit Playground to do, which is like do 10 things okay. So I'll mention that. So do many things okay, not one thing really well. Move my so that's as we're going through this, I'm like, what do I like about these, and what am I not so sure about? So maybe I'll put under no. Not require live poly batteries. I want the cost to be under 25. That's like a requirement. That's like one of the key elements. I like to have, I don't want any breadboarding. It's kind of like one of the things I've decided, like this is not going to be breadboardy.
Okay.
And, I'm kind of like learning these as I'm going through all the options.
So picky.
Yeah, well, this is the research.
Why aren't you okay with those like $200 dev boards that like have like everything on it? I guess that's another video, isn't it?
I was actually going to bring my STK 500 to show it off, but I was like, oh, this is like it's not even within reason. Okay, so far here's some of the things I like and don't like. Okay, good. So, and I actually do want to have. I think I'm going to require at least 3 sensors.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Is an RGB LED a requirement? Because I had mentioned it.
You want it? Okay, yeah.
I think it should be a requirement, because if you want sound, then you have to also pick the other senses. Like, okay, it should.
Well, there's no requirement for sound. There's just 3 sensors.
3 sensors, but
could be light and temperature.
But sound maybe has to be one of them. or an output, like sound has to be part of it.
You want, well, how about like maybe sound
Okay, maybe sound.
out,
Maybe sound out.
in. Okay.
Maybe sound. All right.
Oh, well, we're researching. Okay, so that's something that it's like not similar to the Ardex, but it's worth looking at. A board that does one thing really well. Okay.
Okay, so now we have.
Keep moving on, moving on.
Okay, so this is a Pico board.
Yeah. So the Pico board, what I like about the Pico board is it works with Scratch, which is a introductory programming system that uses blocks, and it's called Blockly.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I want to make sure is the board that we use, even though it's nice to have something that's Arduino compatible, I think that's like kind of going to be a semi-requirement. It's also important that you can use it with other languages like Scratch and Blockly. Yeah,
Scratch, Blockly, Johnny 5, Nodejs, Firmata, CodeBender.
Dude,
this is part of the platform decision when you're doing research.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
What do you want it to work with?
Yeah, what should it work with?
Like, I'm not going to design a whole new thing. Like
We're not going to make our
It doesn't make any sense. If there's a million kids out there using Scratch, and there almost certainly is.
Yeah.
I should make something that works with it. I mean, it would be really cool for it to work with Minecraft, with Scratch. Like, we should make something that can work with all these things. So actually, under requirements, I'm going to say should be able to work with
at least Arduino and at least Scratch. Do you want to say that?
With at least one of Arduino, Scratch,
yeah,
Blockly, actually, Minecraft. So it has some sort of so now it's like we have to have some sort of interface, right? Okay. So must have USB, right? Because if you don't have USB, I mean, you can do it with BLE, but like pretty much to interface with Scratch, I think it's only USB is the only thing that interfaces. So if we look at the Pico board, so this is the Pico board. Okay, good, you got that up. So this board is, this is an FTDI chip. I don't think it's Arduino compatible, although I think some of them are. Okay. But it's not like natively Arduino compatible. Pico board. So let's make this large. Actually, this is the I don't want to make this. What? Oh.
Well, I know I mentioned this before, but like,
yeah,
you know, ideas and platforms and electronics, you know, you just didn't like all this stuff just didn't happen. Oh, like in the shower, I thought of this. And
no. You look at all these things and you're like, oh, you know what? Like, you know, when we first came to Circuit Playground, I didn't think about having it work with Scratch. But then as I was doing the research, because I'm like kind of revisiting, I'm doing something I actually did 6 months ago, right?
Yeah.
When I looked at stuff like the Pico board, I was like, oh, you know what? I should really make sure that it works with Scratch. So this comes with one microcontroller, you know, maybe Arduino compat. I think this board actually uses an old chip that's a PIC that's not Arduino compatible, but current builds of the Pico board are Arduino compatible. Comes with one potentiometer, slider, one sound sensor, one light sensor, and then one button. And it doesn't have any RGB LEDs. I think these are probably just indicators. And then what I thought was kind of neat is these like jacks that go to alligator clips. So 4 times
yeah, that's kind of neat.
Alligator clip plugs. So, you know, pros, works with Scratch, which is a huge market. If you want to, having something that can work with Scratch expands the usability, because now people who already know Scratch will be like, oh, here's something I can add on to what I already know. Works with Scratch, comes with some sensors, extensible, using the alligator clips. You know, simple. It does one thing, which is work with Scratch, but it seems to have a lot of like capability. I like that it's like, oh, you can add more sensors, but it comes with some basic ones to start. But cons is, I think, the custom alligator cables are sort of iffy. Like I'm not such a fan of. Not a ton of sensors.
Does it have an RGB LED?
No RGB LED.
No.
So not a ton of sensors.
There's a sound sensor.
Actually, there's no outputs at all. Ooh, that's really interesting. There's no outputs. Huh.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a bummer.
Okay.
There's a lot of inputs, but no outputs. But this is having something that can do everything the Pico board does is kind of a powerful thing because there are like so many people who are using it already. So okay, interesting. This is not standalone, so it can't run off a battery. Nope, not battery or battery. Whereas the other boards are all battery standalone. So that's a question. Do we want something that has to be plugged into a computer, or something that can do either? And we already need USB because we're going to make it work with Scratch. But I think that having it be portable is a requirement. So some sort of battery power. I mean, it could be like battery power means using a USB battery pack of some sort. But battery power ability, I think, is valuable. Okay, so what's next?
Okay, next up. We're getting closer to more of everything. And when I say more of everything, it's like, okay, sounds like someone had, similar like goal.
Yeah, this is very similar. This is it's getting as close to.
It's like, oh, we got a lot of stuff on this.
Yeah, so this is really neat. So let's show this on the overhead because I actually have.
Overhead.
I didn't have any of those other items, but I do have this.
Yeah. Okay. I got this. And,
okay. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Explora. So this is the Explora, which
let's
is
just go the full thing here.
It was no longer made, but was kind of designed to be like like you said, it's all in one device. That it used to have a cap for the joystick, and I lost it. But it's a little bit. I can tell that they kind of liked what the Pico board does because it got a lot of the same capabilities. Like it has a microcontroller here with USB. It has a buzzer. It has a reset button. It doesn't have a main button, but it does have a light sensor, a microphone sensor, a potentiometer, temperature sensor, accelerometer, joystick, and like a kind of joypad thing. I think I mentioned this light sensor. And it has these like extensibility plugs, which are like kind of custom, but they're better than nothing. And then, of course, it's Arduino compatible because it has an RGB LED because it's from Arduino. So of course this is compatible. One of the things that kind of annoys me though, it's like you have to hold. I mean, this is such a minor thing, but you're holding it. But there's all these through-hole things on the back, so that kind of drove me a little crazy. And then there's these headers you can plug in more things. So even though the Explorer isn't sold anymore, it's kind of close. And then there's this multiplex, which I'm not really sure why they deeded it.
This is part of our Arduino museum.
Yeah. But I got one of these a long time ago.
Yeah. I really like this one.
Yeah.
I thought it was neat. Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of neat. I like that.
Yeah, because it was a game. It combined like the Pico board didn't look like a game controller. It just wasn't.
Yeah,
that's not the way it was designed.
Which is kind of neat. Like I do like the game controllerness of this.
Because like every kid kind of knows like.
It's like immediately
cool,
you know what it is.
Gaming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's obviously, and it can act like mouse keyboard. Okay, so let's go to.
All right, we're moving right along.
Moving on.
So next up is MaKey MaKey.
Wait, no, I have to do the.
Oh, you want to go? We got to go to the.
Yeah, I didn't finish.
Oh right, we got to do the pros and cons here.
You're just running ahead. So I don't. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, so I'll just leave.
Yeah.
We're not selling it anymore, but here's where it was, and this was like about $50. Okay. So comes with 1 times micro at Mega 324 at Meek. It's actually, I'll just say it's Arduino compat. It comes with a joystick, 4 buttons, piezo, sound sensor, slide pot, accelerometer, temp sensor.
Now, this was a
light
while
sensor.
ago, and it didn't have an RGB LED.
No, it does.
It does?
Yeah.
Like a NeoPixely one?
No, just like a plain one. It's down here.
Yeah?
Yeah, it just drove RG. It had PWM'd. I think.
Oh, that's right. Wow.
Yeah. No, it had a lot.
This is a cool board.
This is pretty cool. So this had a lot. So it was kind of like designed for basically what we're talking here. And then it has like these 4 like Tinker connectors. So pros, it's Arduino. It's Arduino official, so that's great. Supported within the IDE. Can act like keyboard, mouse, which I think is really cool. Lots and lots of input output because you have the joystick and the buttons. It has this slide pot, microphone, RGB LED, like lots and lots of input, output, and sensors. So that's really neat. Cons, need these custom Tinker cables. It's not standalone. One of the pros is that looks like a game controller, but one of the cons is
It looks like a game controller.
it looks like a game controller. I mean, yeah. I mean, like this is the thing.
Yeah.
It's kind
It
of
doesn't
neat.
play games.
Yeah, it
Game
doesn't.
controller does not play games. I mean, you can turn it into something it does.
Yeah, you can plug it into a computer and act like a keyboard or mouse or joystick. So you can do stuff like that, but it doesn't really do anything else. So that's a little constraining. This is my nitpick. It kind of like hurts to use. Pointy.
Yeah. So we'll answer some specific questions later.
Yeah.
But what people are noticing, you're like, wow, like Circuit Playground's $20. Like, how did you get it to $20? So we'll go
Wow,
over that.
if only we had 8 more lessons.
Yeah. Well, it's a good question, and we'll definitely show it because that's the feedback we kept getting. It needs to be $20.
I will show how I
So
got
how
it
much was
$20.
the Explorer?
The Explorer was about 50. I think we sold
Okay.
it for 54, but I think it was
Yeah.
about, the retail was about 50.
Yeah, that's tough for 30 kids.
But it's pretty good. I mean, we're seeing like, okay, like it's not $85 Ardex, and it does have everything inside of it.
Oh, why are the cons, the custom Tinker cable? Why is that a con? Why is that in it? Why isn't that a feature, a benefit?
Because whenever you need a custom cable, it means that the kids and students can't just use something that they buy anywhere. Like you have to get a custom connector made.
Can't you just hook up a wire to it?
It has to be a socket wire.
Okay.
And like we have those and we sell them, but then I'm just saying like compared to some of these examples that have like the Flora, which you can use alligator clips with, and some of the other
it seems
demos.
like alligator clips are
And the Bear Conductive, which also used alligator clips.
Yeah.
This custom connector, and then also the Pico board custom connector. On one hand, it's like a custom connector is great, but then first off you have to solder that connector in, and it's just not as flexible, and it's like it's a little constraining.
I'm gonna call it here. So let's see, which way do I go? No, that way. So they could have just put tabs and made it so it worked with alligator clips, but they wanted to probably do an ecosystem play.
Because they had these Tinker kits.
Because they had these Tinker kits, so they're
Yeah.
like, oh, but this is maybe one of the reasons this didn't work out because there wasn't an ecosystem. So if there was alligator clip areas, little pads, maybe this would have been more popular.
Yeah, it's a tough question. I mean, I actually, like I said, I actually do like this design quite a bit. I used to think
that's one of
Flora
my
was
favorites.
really beautiful. It did suffer from not enough tutorials, I think, not enough projects with it. It was a little, it was this beautiful thing that like nobody really knew how to use. I only saw like 2 or 3 people ever use it, which we'll talk about in marketing, right? Which is part of marketing. Like how do you get people excited about what you're building? this is something that we're kind of good at, but is a challenge.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the things. I think it did everything.
It did everything, but that wasn't, like, it should have become the Pico board replacement, but somehow, like, it didn't.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit, honestly, I think probably there was a lot of Arduino discussion and disagreement about how to approach it, and maybe that was part of it.
Yeah, and one of the challenges too is like some of these boards, they do everything, but they don't do anything well enough. So little pieces. So it's kind of like that old Simpsons episode where it's like Homer designed a car and it just like had everything.
Yeah, it's like a hot tub and like a grill and like
okay.
Like a sunroof.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we do have this requirement that we want it to be able to do multiple things okay. So that's a very thin line between clown car and Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you want to be ready. You don't want to just be ready for something you're never going to need or use. Okay.
Exactly.
So you want to go on to the next one?
Yeah, we're going to the next one.
Okay, next up. MaKey MaKey.
Yeah, so MaKey MaKey, which is like, this classic.
Also looks like a game controller.
Also looks like a
uses alligator clips. This must be the one. We're so close.
Okay. So the MaKey MaKey, we do sell it. So I'm going to just search here. So the MaKey MaKey, which is made by Jay Silver and Eric and what's interesting is this is from the same group that also did Scratch. So it's kind of like, it's neat to see multiple people going together. So
they're even like, we should do this again. We should keep working on this project.
Wow, selecting text in OpenOffice is really hard. Okay, MaKey MaKey. So this is a little bit like, it's kind of a little bit like the Bare Conductive board. Like definitely the Bare Conductive board looked at this when they were making their design. So it comes with, the most important thing is it comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touch sensors. So they're actually resistive.
And this is our site. We sell this.
Yeah, this is resistive.
So obviously we have an idea of how this is working out. We know.
Yeah.
We sell it. We support it. Comes with alligator clips. Comes with stickers.
Comes with bundle alligator.
Is there a speaker
clips
on this thing?
No, I haven't gone there yet. Wait, there's wires. Wow, it's interesting. The wires are just actually like tie wrapped. 1 USB cable. Sticker pack. I mean, like, it's worth thinking about. I mean, maybe that's something that we want to add. People really like stickers. On board, there are no additional sensors. Actually, it's interesting. It used to be Arduino compatible, and it isn't anymore. It is now a PIC 18F25, which is kind of fascinating because I didn't quite realize that. It used to be Arduino compat, but it isn't anymore.
So this probably doesn't work with Scratch?
Well, it might. I mean, one of the things that's a pro about this is it's like ultra simplicity.
I like how the alligator clips could clip into the joypad thing. That's a nice.
No, it is a very nice design.
That's a nice idea. Look at that.
Design element.
That's a cool thing because you could clip right into this.
So so the pro is ultra simplicity. Acts like keyboard, mouse, out of the box. Not a ton of sensors, but very interactive.
I'm going to say this.
Easy to use with any software.
The MaKey MaKey is self-documenting. You kind of know what it does when you look at it.
Yeah, you plug it in.
Yeah.
Click space, arrows, USB. I mean, it's very straightforward how it works. If you look at the front, space, click, and that's it. Like it's very simple. Like you can make your banana piano and it works with any software. So that's very interesting that it is.
I'm gonna give Jay and team another shout out. So I remember when the iPod came out and there was the wheel.
Yeah.
And it was so easy to use, even if you had hundreds of songs, and just like right away, like the training for it was instantaneous. You didn't have like this crazy like LCD and this interface, and like I liked Sony stuff, but it was always complicated to use. There was a push and click and a wheel on the side, or who knows. But the iPod was so fun and easy to use. I remember thinking about the MaKey MaKey that way. It's like, oh, like it's pretty clear what you can clip stuff to it. Mm-hmm. It was just clear.
No, this is like why this is one of the things you want to research, even though it doesn't have a lot of sensors. So one of the cons is not reprogrammable, Arduino compatible. It used to be, but I think for cost reduction, they went to a PIC because like that's a PIC 18F. That'll save you a buck or two. And then I don't know what this chip is. I don't know exactly what this deal is, but it looks like you have all these other keys. You can go the WASD, FG, and then this is mouse. They got FCC certification. That's kind of nice. Left click, right click. So it's very self-documenting.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice. So ultra simplicity and self-documenting. I'll put that down there. That's a very valuable thing. Not reprogrammable. Not a ton of sensors. Does only one thing, but does it pretty well.
Okay.
Is there any other cons you think? No RGB LED.
That's right.
Not a ton of sensors. No outputs.
Does it have a speaker?
No speaker. The only sensor is these resistive touch sensors. I'll say there's 12 because it's technically there's these wires. I'm not a huge fan of this like weird wire output. But it basically just like does one thing. I don't even think it's reconfigurable. Maybe there's a tool that reconfigures
I'll say this, but this is for probably future ones. Mm-hmm. Some of these boards are not FCC and CE certified, so they may not have a place in some school systems or some organizations that need something like this, and MaKey MaKey does. So I'm not going to confuse things because we're going to talk about that later.
We're totally going to talk about that later.
But I do think it's something to consider as we look at some of these.
Yeah.
RoHS, FCC, CE matters to some people, especially the education market. Okay, so you want to keep moving?
Yeah, let's keep moving.
All right, next up.
We're getting towards the end here.
CodeBug.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the $20 boards that came out like kind of as we were doing this research. So CodeBug, I have one of these too, and
oh boy,
so I can even show what you get.
Oh yes.
So this is a cute little. So these are the $20 boards. So like now we first looked at like that's what we just saw was the.
They got a booklet. They figured out.
Hey,
well, it's like a
packaging is part of it. We're gonna have to think
they
about
got a
that.
safety thing. Is this FCC and CE? It's got to be. What's on the safety instructions?
I think it's like don't eat.
Don't eat. Okay.
I do not see any certification marks.
All right, so then that would be maybe they're working on it.
Maybe they're working on it. I do not see it. Usually it's on the board itself. That doesn't mean they aren't. I'm going to assume the best. Oh no, it's on here.
Oh, look at that. Bing, bing, bing.
So it is here. They have FCC and CE certification.
I wonder if they have to put it. Oh,
that says it's designed with Eagle.
It's from and it says the UK. I wonder if they were in process and they didn't put it on the board because they could still put that on the board.
Usually, because I don't know. Yeah, maybe you don't have to though. Maybe whatever. Okay. Anyway, so what we saw before was all the high functioning boards. Now we're going to get into the low cost boards. So we'll see we want something in the middle. So it uses a CR2032 for battery. There's a little bit of an extension header. It has these nice big pads that you can alligator clip onto. It has a 5x5 LED matrix. Has a little microcontroller with USB built in, A and B buttons.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
It's got it going on.
It's got it going on. So let's go to the pros and cons of this.
Yeah. How many RGB LEDs does it have?
None.
Okay.
Jeez, you're really
if
harsh.
I were to, well, I think it's important. Does it have a speaker?
It doesn't have a speaker. No, so this is one of the things.
So so when people ask, so I'm leading on this, obviously. So
Okay, so it's got.
Thing is, there's reasons why you can get something for $20.
Yeah, there's trade-offs.
You don't have RGB LEDs. You don't have speaker. Those things.
Okay, could you stop with the speakers thing?
Yeah, I'll stop.
So it has one USB microcontroller. It's a PIC, so it's not Arduino compatible. It has 2 buttons. It has 25 LED grid, so 5x5 grid. Sort of like, has 6 alligator pads. Looks like you get 4 GPIO, and then 1 expansion header, and you get a USB cable. Okay, so pros, it's $20.
That's a biggie. That's what
Something.
the price point people keep asking for.
Has alligator clip capability.
Okay.
How
do you program it?
Well, that's the thing. So the cons is it's not Arduino compatible. And you have to use a cloud service for compilation.
Oh boy.
So, like, maybe works with other stuff, but probably not. I think it's really just, I think you pretty much have to use this cloud service. And it's like Blockly or Python or JavaScript, and then it compiles in this, and you download it, and then you drag it on.
So if there's no internet connection, that's it.
Yeah, there's.
Okay.
I think that you're kind of stuck. So,
Okay.
Pros is you can do, Python, JavaScript, or Blockly, but have to use a cloud service, it seems. And there's seems to be like an emulator, so that's kind of neat.
Oh, maybe the emulator runs local. No, that probably needs to be
No,
cloud
this is
too,
all
yeah.
this is all
Darn,
cloud. I mean,
yeah.
you can probably install this, but I don't think they are like, oh, you have to do it. They're just like, this is the easiest way for us to get software to you. If you're going to write software, writing it for the web is easiest.
That's cool.
So what's neat about this is
Yeah, you can
because
put project title
it
on
uses a cloud service, I think you can program it with a Chromebook. Which not everything is. I vaguely remember reading that it is. And everything else here is not.
Yeah, what's funny is as you work with maybe individual school groups or something, one of the requirements might be it has to work with Chromebooks.
Chromebook, yeah, that's an issue. And it looks like, they have like an ecosystem. Like there's all these things that you plug in. So the only problem is it's like you buy this for $20 and then it's like $30 for like the extras. But there are, or maybe this comes with it. Sorry, it's like $10 for the extra. But there are these extras that you can get. There's like a little case, and it has a little.
Give away the razors, but sell the razor blades.
And then you get little like clippy, NeoPixel. Basically you get all these things you can clip on.
Okay.
So
That's super cute. And they have a classroom set, 310 pounds, which with the Brexit it's like $40 now, right? No.
No.
I know,
Yeah. Whatever. I don't know. Classroom set. Yeah. So you get a classroom. So that's kind of nice. But the sensor limitation is like there's like only 2 buttons.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of weak. And the LED grid is cool, but like it's like on one hand it's really cool, on the other hand it's like there's not much you can do about it. But basically like not having more than 2 buttons, like that kind of sucks. Like I mean you've got the alligator clips, and maybe they can act as capacitive touch. I mean, I don't really know, but
Yeah, it's all trade-off.
yeah, it's all trade-off. Cons, coin cell battery, which I really I really dislike because coin cells again are extraordinarily hard to ship around.
In your research list, it sounds like there's things that you're like absolutely not.
Yeah, that's in my not list.
Not.
Okay,
can't,
so let's. Can you skip to the 2? Because it's out of order. Skip.
You want me to go this one? Yeah, someone mentioned this in chat. They're like, hey, that kind of reminds me of the Micro Bit.
Okay, so the Micro Bit is also, I don't know if the price has been completely set, but it's basically about $20. It's another British thing. So the British, you can tell they're...
Yeah, the Pi Zero versus like Micro Bit versus CodeBug.
Yeah, and it's all like half it's just about cookies. So pros, so comes with, so there's actually, it's a little hard to know exactly what's in it. Okay, so you get 5 alligator clip pads, 3 GPIO, 2 buttons, 25 LED grid. So it's like it's a derivative of the CodeBug. You can kind of tell because it has that stuff. This one's kind of weird because it actually has a BLE microcontroller plus embed helper chip.
Yeah, that's curveball. Hi.
Yeah, it's a little bit out there. I mean, I can understand. One accelerometer, and then one magnetometer, which that one really is bizarre.
It's kind of like
to go with.
It's like an electronics company is like, hey, by the way, do you want to like just have a bunch of these for free? And yeah.
Oh yeah, wait. You know what? Actually, I have one of these too. So let's
You
go
do?
to the overhead again. I can figure this out. So this is what it comes with.
Do the microbit people and the CodeBug people get along? Like, are they team up?
I don't think so. I think
Oh, you think it's a
there was
fight?
a big fight.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a little Freescale chip here, which is the embed chip, and then there's an NRF51. And then, yeah, there's an accelerometer and a compass, and then these nice little pads. And then these actually are also breakouts, but you need like an adapter for it, which is like kind of cool. There's all these test pads everywhere. LED grid, so it's double-sided. Nice silk screen.
It's a neat board.
I like this. I
In the
like
chat,
this.
The clip pads on the microbit can also fit banana plugs, and you can slot the whole card edge on a breakout on.
Yeah,
on the
I
side.
said that. You can do that,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's like it's a weird connector.
Yeah.
The banana plug thing, I'm not. Like, I don't think a lot of people. I mean, like if you're going to do it, you're going to use alligator clips because they're way less expensive than banana plugs. So I'm not a huge. Like these are a little bit weirder to clip with with alligator clips because they're wide, but I guess you could do it. And then it comes with a battery connector. Here's the thing that they got right. They're like, we're not going to use a light poly battery. But the thing that's annoying is it says use only carbon zinc or alkaline, so it's not rechargeable.
Okay.
And I was always a little bit like, well, why did you go with two? This is a really weird design decision. They went with 2 AAA batteries, which gives you 3 volts, which will run everything, rather than going with 3 AAA and then putting a 3.3 volt regulator, which would have cost like 10 cents. And it would have probably been about the same size. I mean, maybe they wanted to fit in here somehow. A little bit weird, but yeah. It comes with
if anyone knows, post up in the comments. I mean, they got like Bluetooth and stuff on this. I'm surprised they didn't do that.
Yeah, Bluetooth is. That's one of the things I thought. I mean, it was a little bit of a surprise because everything else that we've looked at is USB. This is the first one that's like it has wireless capability. Yeah. There's pros and cons. You'll notice that there's no NeoPixels. NRF51 822 can't drive NeoPixels.
Mentioning some things.
You
anymore.
love mentioning.
No,
you're over it.
You told me to stop, and I stopped.
It was a little repetitive. Okay, so let's go to the text. We can finish this up.
Okay, so this is a lot of research.
Yeah, but we're almost done. There's one more left. Okay, so pros. BLE is pretty effing cool, right?
Yeah, that's neat.
You can use it with a tablet now. You can use it with your phone. It can act like a beacon. That's pretty neat. But cons is, it's not Arduino compatible. NRF51 has like complexities. Like we work with it a lot. I mean, it's good, but it's like you can't download the tool chain. I mean, you can download the tool chain yourself, but like working with the soft device and like having your own I mean, there's pros and cons. It's a very big pro, like that has BLE. Pros, a bunch of nifty sensors, but like not any outputs other than LED grid, which I'm a little sad about. So it has like a lot of inputs, I guess, sensors. It comes with the alligator clips. That's really neat. Extensible, portable. Runs on AAAs, but you can't. Requires alkalines. It's just a little. I'm sure there's a really good reason for it, but I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. Another con, it's not part of the EU anymore.
Another con. And another thing is just knowing what I know about the parts cost, this would not be possible without, it's not possible to make for $20 and
yeah, this is like a walk and talking startup. I
mean,
it's subsidized from the start.
It's like, cons, benefits from huge subsidy.
Yeah, not actually possible based on the bill of materials to sell.
Yeah,
profitably.
you can do an analysis. I mean, like you the bill of materials and assembly costs and everything. I think if you did the math, it'd probably end up being like $15 altogether, which is like, okay, you can basically sell it for 20, but it's if anything goes wrong, you've lost money.
Tough biz.
So that's a little bit. We'll talk about pricing a little bit later. I don't think this is a button. This is a reset. Yeah, this is a reset. The layout on this is a little bizarre. I don't know why they put the accelerometer on the edge. Why not put it in the center where you would? I mean, I guess maybe it got in the way of the LED grid layout. Okay, so very cute. You know, another pro. BBC giving away 1 million of them. Lots of tutorials and people using.
Okay.
So that's that's a pretty big pro. They're giving away 1 million of them.
What else we got?
Not a ton of sensors. Tool chain is, frustrating, has NDAs or, licensing. Like it's the tool chain is not, the tool chain's open source, but the many parts of the Nordic soft device subsystem are not, it may not make a difference, but like, it's something to consider. Yeah. Like, the embed, like when we first saw the original embed breakout, they were like, oh, the compiler cost $5,000, so we made it.
Yeah, they changed stuff
only.
Eventually, but
like I think actually this is cloud only too.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that's tough on us is so some of the things that we've done in research for this episode is show that we could stock it. There's no way for us to stock this. There's no reseller pricing. There's no way to.
Yeah, you can't actually get this really.
And in my list of things that I cared about, like RGB LEDs and sound.
Yeah, it's completely cloud-based. So you use a browser to do all of the... And it looks like you can use Python, and you can use like a Blockly type thing.
Yeah, you wouldn't use this as a platform to base your design off of either. This is what it is. It is an educational tool that is subsidized, and it doesn't seem to have
they only have videos. That's annoying. Okay, so you can code on mobile, and looks like Python and Blockly is supported. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's cloud only.
Right.
And yeah, you're kind of this is what it is. Like no reseller, pricing unclear if will be available.
Yeah, it's like outside. A campaign, not necessarily.
Yeah, it's
a platform.
It has a little bit of that like it's an advertising campaign. I mean, it's a very interesting idea, but it's like something that has no fiscal grounding is always a little bit riskier. Like
it's tough, and there's not exactly bundles that you can do quite with it yet.
Yeah,
like
I mean, you can we can manufacture accessories just like with the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah,
we can manufacture accessories with it, but it's not. Is next year is the BBC going to be like, okay, we gave away 1 million, now we're done, and it's like, that was it. Like, what's next?
Yeah, and I guess we should also be clear, like, this isn't evaluating an educational effort. It's looking at research for deciding on hardware that we're going to design.
Yeah.
We want to see more $20 boards. If everyone wants to subsidize everything, that's great. That's awesome. Please keep doing it.
I'm jealous of these UK kids. Like they all got one of these. But it's interesting. I mean, but it is interesting if you're looking at a board that's $20, but it's only $20 because it has subsidies and a marketing budget behind it.
Yeah.
Like that is something that you have to consider. Like, if projects are sold at cost or below, or they're sold at below cost, that will affect the longevity and also your hardware design. Like you may or may not have the BBC or other companies like funding your project. So you have to think about that when you're doing R&D. Like maybe halfway through, I'd be like, you know what? Like I should just get a big company to like sponsor, their sensors or something. Is that something that I want to do?
Yeah, like maybe Atmel will subsidize the chips for Arduino, and Arduino will be a couple bucks less.
Yeah, I mean these are all things you can.
You got any more? We got one more.
Well, there's one that came in afterwards. I thought I would talk about it briefly.
Mover.
So this one came out after Circuit Playground was already launched and completed. But
Yeah, that's right.
I thought I would add it in because it was a Kickstarter, and it just finished recently. So let's go check it out.
All right.
So this is actually, it's one of the things you can do as part of your marketing campaign is if something is a crowdfunded, and like you may decide to use crowdfunding, looking at crowdfunding campaigns is really, really valuable because they kind of do all the work for you to figure out like what's the market. So they got $130,000. You can see how many people pledged and what they were willing to pay for it. So did most people?
Yeah, the $45 mark they had 700 people.
Yeah, and then there's like $55,
Okay.
$65.
What was the biggest amount?
The biggest.
What was the price point?
The biggest quantity was the $45.
45. Okay.
And it looked like it was limited.
Okay.
So you
super clear that it has RGB LEDs.
But what's interesting, yeah, it definitely has RGB LEDs. But like, people. There are some people that spent $90 to get 2 of them, but not that many. And once you got to like 45 people really liked, 55, 430 people were willing. But once you get to 65, it plummeted to 100 people. So this is also part of your research. Like, not always will you have the luck of getting this much information about a product, but like if you can.
For research, use Kickstarter as a way to understand what is possible with the market.
And then there was like, get a pack of 10, only 4 backers. So not a lot of people got these packs. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's a lot to put in.
This technology will save us?
Yes.
Okay.
And they do. We sell some of their kits and packs too. So they have some experience. So, so this is the Mover kit. And this was, there's no real price, but I think $65 is kind of what it looks like it's going to be, because usually they offer it for a lower price during the campaign. And then this is a Kickstarter. And it comes with, now, there's not a lot of information. It looks like an STM32 microcontroller. I don't know what it is. So one microcontroller. One button, one accelerometer, one magnetometer. Again, I do not get why people put magnetometers in, but maybe someone will tell me. One LiPoly battery. Again, usually I'm not so into the LiPoly batteries. This one is packaged all together, which is kind of nice. It comes with a package enclosure wearable, so that's kind of neat. And then 8 RGB LEDs. And that's what it comes with. And it's quite compact.
Yeah, and these are kind of the biggies that we looked at for research. There's other things out there.
Dude,
there's
chip,
forever. There's little bits, but these were the main ones that will probably be when we thought about Circuit Playground compared against the most.
Yeah, so pros, like finished goods, lots of LEDs, yay. Sensor inputs. Cons, no extensibility. Probably not Arduino compatible. Looks like you have to use their cloud service. This is like this little project that you make.
Yeah, I understand the value because it's like, well, you don't want to ship software to everyone and like they have to download each time, so maybe it's in the cloud, but then
yeah, it's like
all trade-offs.
It's very pretty. It's very pretty and small.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really exist yet, so it's like it's kind of tough to fill this all out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, but I think that's plenty of research.
Right. You did your homework, as they say in the biz, Ladyada.
And this is like we did it for an hour, but really, when you do your research for your product, you're going to do this over the course of like a week or two. Like this, you should really dig into each one. But what's interesting is you can see patterns emerge. All of them have at least a button, and a lot of them have LEDs or outputs or inputs. And as you're doing all of this, and we're going to start, when we do the next section, we'll start doing the requirements and stuff. We'll pick apart, as we went through and we're like, I like this, I like that, I didn't like this. We'll actually turn that into, okay, let's work back from the bill of materials, work back from the pricing that we have and start filling out the bill of materials so we can determine what components we're going to add.
Yeah. Okay. For part of research, there's a bunch of questions. You want me to start asking them?
Yeah. One thing I do want to show is like, here's two things that we have already, and I'm not going to,
Yeah, and we have a lot of information about them. So I got Gemma.
Yeah, so this is the Gemma. It's a low cost microcontroller. It's one of the things I was considering when I first thought about it. I thought maybe I would make it basically a Gemma compatible, and then also there's the Flora, which is a very popular board. And recently I added a NeoPixel to it. You can see this animation, and so it has one output. It doesn't have any sensors really, but it has those like alligator clips, and it's portable, and it's Arduino compatible. So it has some benefits to it.
And here's Circuit Playground, by the way. Like, this is one of our promo videos for this video series. It's like there's a theme,
Yeah.
And then there's Flora.
Yeah, so it's the Flora. So I'm not going to cover these because this is an individual board. It isn't it's not designed to be an all-in-one, get started with electronics kit like all the other things. But I wanted to, going through what's in the market. Some of these are really close. Like the digital sandbox is really close. It's got a lot going on. The Micro Bit is also really close and very interesting. I'm not sure if it'll make it to the United States, but if it did, I think it would actually be very successful. Yeah. And I could see Circuit Playground being something that would, there would be basically two alternatives. You could use like the Bluetooth, wireless board or like a non-wireless board. But when I saw the Micro Bit, actually was like, ooh, we use the Nordic NRF 51822. Even though it's heading towards being Arduino compatible, maybe I would take like a left turn and instead go with BLE. But there's a lot of trade-offs with BLE. Most of which is now you're very constrained to basically you have to do over-the-air updates. It's a lot tougher to do debugging and programming. Like you don't just plug it in. It can't act like a mouse and keyboard. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
You want me to,
so
to rattle off some questions? Yeah. Because, as part of the research of what you're doing here, other things come up. So, we had, I'll find a window for me here or something like that.
Do you want to add you?
Yeah, I'll add me, because that way I'm just not like a talking head. Maybe I'll put me
you want to be kind of...
Yeah, I'll put me like...
There? Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Close. Just scoot you up. Yeah, there you go. You're like coming out of the machine.
Yeah. Watch this. Okay. So, one of the things, and this would be in the marketing episode, and it also is part of research. So Circuit Playground is a name that we have. It's a trademark name. We have a kids show. We have an app, multiple apps, in the Apple App Store. App. And then we've also had something in the Android.
Yeah, we have
Google Play.
Google Play.
So Circuit Playground is something that we wanted to make sure nothing else was called Circuit Playground. So in your research, you may, again, this is for the audience out there, you may need to go to the trademark search that, if you're in the US, and look up the name of the thing you're thinking of, because there's copyright, patent, and trademarks, the type of stuff that we all do, and patents don't seem to be the thing.
Patents tend not to cover this stuff because it's not functional. Yeah. It's a dev.
They're like $20 educational boards, and then copyright. That would be something else, like the code and the license.
Well, that does come in with Nordic stuff.
Yeah,
so if you're using NRF, they have strictly copyrighted code, and also a lot of PIC code has non-open source licenses. One of the things that I would like to have is all the code and tool chains required to use this board do not require a cloud service and don't require copyrighted code that's not copyright restricted code that isn't open source.
Yeah. So let's go to the trademark search.
Okay.
And let's just make sure Circuit Playground, is it a trademark that's okay to use?
Yeah. Sure.
And
Let's go
this
here.
is something that folks should.
Yeah, you can get there from uspto.gov and like go to the trademark search and you end up in this like totally weird other page. And I do want to make it super, super clear that this is just because something is or is not in trademark does not mean you're good to go. It doesn't mean you're not good to go.
Yeah.
You absolutely need to have a trademark lawyer before, if you're actually going to have a final product, you're going to sell it. Even if it is open source, even if you're only going to put a couple on Tindy, you really should do a trademark search at least. And if you're serious about selling it more than a couple hundred, you should secure your trademark and also make sure that there's no
I'll give you an example. Like
violations of trademark.
Spark had to change your name. They wanted to change your name to Particle.
Yeah.
Because there was just too many things called Spark. It was just like complicated. And we have Circuit Playground. And you want to search for Circuit Playground?
Yeah, so you can do a basic word search. Oh man, I gotta start over.
Install Java.
Oh God, you gotta start over. Okay. Trademark basics, and then this always takes a while. Searching trademarks.
Yeah.
And then, and then you get into tests. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, all right, so type in Circuit Playground. Circuit Playground. Okay, so we got it. So this is something we've had since 2014. We've been using it, yeah.
Yeah, me.
Okay, so go back. What if we said we wanted to call something
Circuit Sandbox?
Circuit Sandbox.
Okay, so nothing appeared.
Ooh.
So that's a pretty good sign. Again, it is not a guarantee.
Yeah.
But because you might have misspelled it, or there might be like
what a trademark attorney would do is say like, hey, there's like digital hyphen sandbox or like sandbox digital, and like that might be a coexistence agreement they have to sign. So you got to do you should do research, and like you should also look for domain names and things like that. Like
it's also a good idea to just type it into Google. So like let's type in, was it Circuit Sandbox?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like
it's a courseware at MIT.
There's already something.
Yeah.
That might do this. Okay, so there's like this product from a German company.
It's the Uber for circuits or something.
It's probably some sort of like circuit, like simulation thing. Just it's a good idea to look at both, even if they didn't register the trademark in the U.S. Just be aware. What if you want Circuit Sandbox? So the trademark that you have. I mean, it might not be relevant.
Yeah.
In this case, it's circuit simulation software. It's pretty close. So, whether your trademark is generic or not, whether it is even trademarkable, there's something to think about. And definitely Google, right? You should look around and make sure. I mean, you're only in the research phase, so you don't have to pick a name yet. A name is a lovely thing because it'll help you kind of keep your focus, and it's like, ooh, it's neat. I can't wait till my.
When we say Google, sometimes we mean make sure Google doesn't have an identical product.
I know.
Sorry.
They do that.
Yeah. So a couple more questions. You ready?
Yeah.
So that's a good place for a trademark. Just like get that going.
It's a good idea. Just do a little bit of light research. Once you feel like your product is getting closer to completion, that's when you might want to retain a lawyer. But if you Google and like there is something that's almost identical to what you're doing and it's the same name, even if they don't have the trademark, they would be able to invalidate your trademark. It's just think of a couple names.
Okay, so we did price point, we did functionality, we looked at what's out there.
Yeah, we did that one.
We looked for a name.
Yes.
The other thing is, we had market potential, and the market potential was we looked at Kickstarters and more and figured out how many may have been possible to sell.
Well, we also, we're lucky because we have a store that sells these things, so we know how many Ardexes we sell. We know how many MaKey MaKeys we sell. So knowing what the market is.
Use your own store if you're a hardware maker.
That's really handy.
Research.
But you can even, a lot of these, some of the times with good Googling, you can Google like, units sold, or if it's a publicly held company. Like for example, MakerBot, when they were purchased by a publicly held company, their sales data went into the 10Qs and 10Ks. And so you can, if you're like, well, how many 3D printers does MakerBot sell? Even though they might not tell you, like, if you ask them, they'll be like, well, I don't want to tell you. It might be in the investment documents that they have to publish quarterly and yearly.
Yeah.
It might not be super easy to find. Like it might be labeled under, desktop 3D printer sold. But that's just an idea of how you can get that detail. I mean,
yeah, I mean, like I often look at annual reports to figure out debt load. So when a purchase happens, we just saw this with Premier Farnell with Eagle. They wouldn't say how much they bought it for, only that it reduced the debt by 8%. You had to look about how much Premium Farnell was in debt, and then eventually do some math. It's about $20 million. So Eagle CAD probably sold to Autodesk for $20 million. That's research.
yeah.
So if you have a desktop CAD tool and you want to know what you could sell it to Autodesk for, probably around $20 million.
Another thing is, if there's something that's similar, you can check online stores and see how many they have in stock.
Yeah.
And that'll give you an idea. Like if everybody's only stocking 1 or 2 of them, that either means it's often sold out or
Yeah.
not very popular. So it's a double-edged sword. But you want to see like, oh, is this something that is carried in a lot of places?
Here's something I'll do once in a while. I'll go to a website, I'll see how many they have in stock, then I return the exact same time the next day and see where the needles move now.
Yeah.
It's not the best way, but it is a little bit of research for
Yep.
market feasibility
Yep.
and more. And then next up, someone wanted to know about profitability.
We'll talk about that in more detail.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll work back from the bill of materials. I think, definitely looking at if you're trying
we
to
touched on it.
Yeah,
if it's subsidized from the start, you're not going to make a profit.
If it's subsidized, it's going to be tougher. But also, if you're looking at all these boards, all the boards that we looked at are like $50 to $100. Look at, why are they that much, and what is it that you can remove? Like maybe the MP3 decoder chip, or maybe all these through-hole parts, or maybe there's things that you can do to make it less expensive. So looking at the existing price points will help you realize whether your price point is realistic or not.
Yeah. And
like when other $20 boards came out, like the CodeBug, I'm like, oh, well, if they can do it, like I'm going to be able to do something.
Yeah, and we'll go over the specifics on how we got Circuit Playground to $20, and we're not selling it at cost. That's important to us. And so, feasibility and profitability for us means that not only can we sell it, but someone else can sell it too.
Yeah.
That matters. It does. Because like if you can't have resellers, then how can it scale? And I hate that word because like businessy folks are like scale, but like it is true. Like we have 2,000 distributors. If we have a popular product, we have to say sorry, we can't sell to you.
There's pros and cons to selling something at cost.
Yeah.
As we know.
Okay. And then the other thing I think we should do is when we go through the bill of materials, we'll hit the DigiKey site and we'll show the price points for when we buy in volume and all sorts of things like that.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm separating, when I really do this research, at the same time I'm looking up all the components, but we're going to do that a lot more in detail with the next episode. It's going to be like almost all part specification, looking at these designs and looking at their schematics and then forward researching. Oh, there's a couple other things I forgot to mention. It's a little bit in regulation, but some of these are not Eurohouse compliant. So that's going to be, I totally forgot about that.
Okay.
So Eurohouse compliant is something that you have to think about if you're going to be selling into Europe.
We mentioned it. Remember I said some of them have the certifications and some of them don't.
So, for example...
Usually Arduino stuff does now, too, by the way.
It does, but
I think the Explorer didn't at the time.
The Explorer was not Eurohouse at the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was, but it has this photocell. I know for a fact that these are not Eurohouse.
Is that, what's the element? There's
cadmium.
Yeah.
It's cadmium. It's no longer Eurohouse. It used to be. So even though this has FCC and CE certification, it's no longer Eurohouse. I mean, it's something you just have to think about
what else?
Little bit.
What are the other ones you got on the desk there?
I had this Parallax speaker badge, and I thought I added it to the list. But this one is neat because it has an OLED and a bunch of capacitive touch buttons.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it has an IR detector and emitter. I thought I put this in the list, but I guess I didn't. But it has an IR detector and emitter.
It's here now.
It has a Parallax chip. The cons are this chip requires like a huge amount of power.
Yeah.
And they did open source it, but it's kind of a pain to use, I'll be honest. And it has, I think it has an accelerometer. Does it? Yeah, motion, so it's accelerometer. And it has a little bit of a flash chip on there. And then has an OLED, which is like super neat, and 2 RGB LEDs. So this OLED's pretty cool. It's a 128 by 64 OLED. So that's cool. I mean, it's quite delicate, so you have to have a protector. But it's a neat add-on. And then this does video and audio out, which is cool. The one thing that weirds me out is it uses a lithium-ion battery that's in the shape of a AA. which is just like the scariest thing I've ever heard of. But I guess it works out. But it looks like a AA holder, but it won't run off a AA. You need a lithium-ion battery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of hackery. But it's that's a dangerous thing to give to people.
Yeah, I mean, it's
because the one thing they will do is
for a super tech conference, though. So you're assuming this audience is okay with that.
Yeah, this is for advanced people. I mean, yeah, it's like a HackerCon.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's it.
Is that? Are we done with research here?
I think so. I mean, you could do this forever.
You have done your homework, Ladyada.
Yay.
All right. Well, we'll be continuing the series. The next one is going to be Saturday, probably at 10 again, and the next one is evaluation.
So evaluation is actually where I'm going to start doing part specification and like breadboarding, right? That's I can't read the text.
Well, for evaluation, we're going to talk about pros and cons of what you decided to do, Circuit Playground, possible ways to get this done, the technologies we're going to use, and a realistic timeline before we start.
What's the step after that? I thought
the step after design, and then prototyping.
I'm gonna use evaluation to do part spec though, because it's kind of in between design and research.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do funding the same way. So we'll talk about other ways to fund things, but I think that we'll probably
I don't have a Gantt chart for me.
We'll have it in an eval.
Like, when's it going to be done? When I say it's done.
Back in the day when Quirky was around, there was like, we'll do it in eval. So we'll do it.
That's true.
We'll do it in eval.
Right. I mean, you could. Yeah. I understand. We'll evaluate by looking at the research boards and also seeing if we can hit some of those requirements that we put up. So I'm going to save this document.
Okay.
All right, sweet.
Woo! All right.
Rock on.
This is nice. We got some nice feedback. This is an awesome series. Thanks for taking time to put this together. Thank you, everybody.
Yay!
1 hour, 30 minutes. This should be a course.
I know, and I'm compressing a week's worth of, this is...
We're compressing 10 years for some of this stuff. All right.
Okay.
Let's get out of here. If I get out of here, let's go to sleep.
I'm going to go
all right.
watch TV or something.
We don't have TV. Okay.
I'm going to actually do a thing. Okay.
All right, later.
Bye.
Bye. See you next week, 10 p.m.